Hi everybody. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about our writing plan, and this is sort of an extension of our writing notes, so some of the questions may be similar. And the reason why we kind of do this repetition thing is by reassessing what we did in our notes and our writing plan, we're reevaluating to see if our thought process is still effective for what we're trying to do. So yes, some of this may start to feel repetitive, but we don't want to just submit the same answers. We want to continue critically thinking about our persuasion, who our audience is, what challenges we might have to reach them, what our goal is. Has that changed with our research? So, take a step back and reassess your thought process, and that's what we're doing, transitioning from the notes to the plan. And then our plan is going to eventually progress into our draft. All right, so let's take a look at our assignment. Again, this is going to be one of those dual assignments where we answer our prompts within MindEdge, and then we submit it, and then there's my fan. We download it, reformat it into a traditional sort of essay presentation, and then upload it into Brightspace. Okay, so these are what we're going to be looking at: our argument, key points, audience, goal, potential resources, evidence, feedback, and revision. And like I said, it's going to be a little bit similar to our notes assignment, but we do want to kind of dig a little bit deeper in our thought process. Remember, the more work that we do now, the less stress future us has. All right, remember that the paragraphs that we are writing need to be fully developed, 5 to 8 sentences, and that is something that we will be graded on as we move forward. So let's make sure that we are getting a minimum of those 5 sentences. And if you have any questions on why we do a minimum of 5 sentences, let me know. Again, you can chat, we can text, we can call, we can email, we can also post in the general discussion forum as well. All right, we're going to go through our questions, and then we'll hit up the rubric and see what our critical elements are. Question 1, what is that argument that you're going to be addressing in your persuasive essay? Explain how that argument is derived from your major or your field of study. And again, this is going to be very similar to what we did in notes, but let's give it a little bit more thought process. Let's develop that idea a little bit more. Maybe with our notes we had sort of a vague argument idea, but now after doing some of our research, it's really kind of honed in a little bit. Question 2, what are 3 possible key points selected for your topic? What are the 3 main ideas that you're going to use in order to support and persuade your audience to agree with your perspective on that argument? So what are your 3 main key points that you'll be talking about in this paper? Number 3, who is your audience? You guys are doing stellar with audience awareness. I am really impressed with how aware you are of who you are writing to. Outside of myself, yes, I'm going to be reading your papers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I am your target audience. So let's revisit who our audience is and what are some potential challenges that we might have in connecting with this demographic. And the reason why we look at the potential challenges that we might have is that's going to help us better craft our sentences, find evidence that's going to connect to them. Because, for example, maybe we're writing to teenagers freshly outside of high school. We're going to talk to them and present information differently, and maybe even different types of evidence than we would for, say, a senior citizen group. So let's be aware of who our audience is. You guys are doing stellar with that. Number 4, what is your overall goal here with this essay? What do you hope to do outside of convincing your audience of your argument? What would it take for you to feel successful with this essay? Number 5, what are potential resources that you intend on using? These are the resources that you did for your annotations. So let's put them in your essay. And the reason why we're doing this is we're going to kind of sort of structure a single essay where all of this information is. So what resources will you be using to support your key points there? And then this kind of segues into section 6 to what specific key points align with which specific resources. So you can say, I'm going to use an article written by Rowan to support key point 1. Does that make sense? If not, let me know. Number 7, based on your argument, describe where integrating evidence would be most effective and why. And this is where we're sort of doing that plan of action that we kind of touched on in notes. Where specifically will you be using this evidence to structure your essay? For example, maybe you want to use a strong, startling fact in your introduction. Cool. So that's where you're going to integrate evidence. And maybe after each key point, you're going to integrate evidence and then talk about it. So we're kind of thinking about the structure of our paper with number 7. Number 8, let's talk about a revision strategy and what you think would be most effective for you. Maybe outside review, maybe having a friend or a partner read it, maybe reading it out loud, maybe printing it out and actually scribbling on it with a red pen. What revision strategy do you think would be most effective for you, and why do you think it would be most effective? And number 9, how can your own writing improve from feedback, either from me or from an outside party, from the SNHU OWC? How will you benefit from feedback, and how will you integrate or edit your paper based on that feedback? All right, and those are your questions for number 9. Remember, those are your questions for this assignment, including number 9. Make sure that you submit each one of those questions, and that's going to tell us in MindEdge that we did do this assignment. And then make sure you download it, open up that Word document and reformat it a little bit, put your name on there and that kind of stuff, and then be sure to submit in Brightspace as well. Before I leave you with this little video, let's take a look at our rubric. And remember, the rubrics are available in MindEdge as well as in Brightspace, where you submit your assignment, and also in the rubrics folder. If you ever have any questions in your rubrics, let me know. Alright, and this is all sort of that background information on what the assignment is, exactly what we're doing here, and then here we are to our critical elements. Remember that we have all of our critical elements listed, and then our level of proficiency. Very straightforward with this one. Do you describe the argument that you're going to address in your essay? Awesome, great, you're proficient. Do you have 3 key points that will help support that argument? Awesome, great. Your audience, do you identify your audience and determine some specific challenges that you might have in connecting with them? Do you establish your clear goal? Do you clearly establish a goal that you hope to accomplish with this essay? Do you have a list of potential resources to support those key critical elements that you are going to be using in your paper? Those main ideas, those key points. Do you have references that you're going to use? Remember, we get those references from the annotations that we did earlier. Do you have a clear alignment of key points with specific resources that you want to use? I'm going to use an article written by Rowan to support key point 1. That's what we're looking for here. Do you have a plan of integration? Remember, we're kind of structuring our paper with this. When I want to use a startling fact in my introduction, I want to use specific statistics to support key point 1 and key point 2, that kind of stuff. All right. Do you have a description of how beneficial receiving feedback is for you and how you intend to integrate that into your paper? And then, do you have a plan of action for revision? What revision approach do you find most effective for your writing? Reading out loud, printing it out and scribbling on it, having somebody else read your paper? And then there's our good old articulation. Remember, as we move forward, we're going to want to start including sources and citations, and we want to make sure that they are correct. If you ever have any questions on MLA or APA doc style, let me know. Again, text, call, chat, discussion forum, and of course you can always connect with the awesome people at the SNHU OWC as well. Alright, so that is our writing plan. We're already on our writing plan. How awesome is that? Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Don't overthink this. You totally got this.